You're listening to The Rich Life Revolution with me, Michelle Cooper. My mission is to empower you to step into your next level of wealthy. You'll hear all the deets, a little bit of inspiration, and real life takeaways so that you can create your own rich life revolution. Let's dig in. Hey girl, hey. So it's me, Michelle, your host at the Rich Life Revolution podcast, and I'm going to share something super embarrassing. I just spent 45 minutes recording an episode on philanthropy and giving, and then I realized I hated it and I trashed it. It felt really rigid and it felt like I was reading from a textbook, even though I wasn't even reading. It just felt so awful. So I'm going to re-record this now on the fly, and hopefully some of the same really important information comes through to my listeners, all you ladies that I love. But yeah, I want to share the reality of podcasting and all that jazz, because sometimes you do something and you're like, no, that wasn't it. That didn't land. I don't like that. So I thought about not even doing this episode because I was like, I don't know, maybe I don't even want to talk about this. But I do feel that this is really, really important. Giving is a really important part of your abundance. So I'm going to dive in to this and get some really good pieces for you, because giving does matter. It really matters. And it's very important to me personally, but not for the reasons that you think probably. So let's kind of go back a little bit, lay the foundation. Giving is releasing money into circulation, right? Money is energy and it wants to circulate, just like electricity likes to circulate around the grid. Money likes to circulate. It's just energy. So the other piece about giving is that we're releasing without any expectation of something coming back to us in return. So it's not like buying a meal and expecting the meal to be delicious, right? It is releasing money. It's spending of that money, time, energy, any of those things without any expectation that you're going to get something back. Why is that important? Because we're then not attached to the outcome. Doing things because we're attached to the outcome is self-sabotage. Now, you can hear a lot of people talk about this. The most recent one that I heard was a podcast with Jamie Kern-Lima and Oprah Winfrey when she talked about the difference between making the movie The Color Purple and making the movie Precious. And Oprah said, I was very attached to the outcome with Precious, and I didn't get the same personal result versus being in the process for The Color Purple and just loving the process, just doing it because I love the process, right? Doing something without the expectation of an outcome. That's the key. So when we talk about philanthropy and giving, same thing, different words, doesn't matter which one you used, right? It is the act of giving money, your time, your energy, your resources to causes and organizations that are important to you. And I really want to encourage you that these causes and organizations, they got to align with your core values. Because if they do, the impact is amplified because you care. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm just going to give because somebody said to give, right? Like, you know how you go to the store and you buy something and they're like, do you want to round this up and give that money, those cents or whatever, to our foundation? Sure. Yeah, maybe I do. But what does your foundation do? Does your foundation align with my core values? Like, I've started questioning that. Sure, I love to give money, but what are they doing with that money? So for me, I want to demonstrate this to you guys. For me, action taking is really important. It's just one of the things that it's part of my core values. It's part of my DNA, right? I'm a fire sign. I am an action taker. And I like to give to causes that take action. Like, kind of like grassroots, boots on the ground. Like, I don't want to give to causes that or organizations that like I'm supporting the administration of it. Now, I totally get that organizations need admin support. I totally understand that. I'm all in on that. But I want to give to causes that are like boots on the ground, supporting the people. So, for example, the difference between maybe giving to an organization that is lobbying the government on forestry, for example. Now, I totally support that. I love it. I think it's very good work. They should do that. Is that me? No. However, for me personally, I give to the Ancient Forest Alliance, and they support the people who are out there protecting the trees. So they're chaining themselves to the trees, they're taking action. Now, one is not better than the other, both are needed. But for me, I align with that more than I align with the lobbyists who are working with the government or whatever, right? Both important. It's just what aligns with you, what lights you up, what gives you energy, right? You can also donate your time, your skills, your expertise, your resources. All of these things are really important about, amplifying your impact in your giving or in your philanthropy. Now, why is it important? Because we want to be the change that we want to see in our world, right? We want to be the change we want to see in our communities. And this is one of the reasons why I feel so passionate about women having more money, because women spend money differently. It has been proven that women spend money in their communities, in their neighborhoods, right? They care a lot. Now, I'm not saying men don't, but they care a lot. And through women giving of their time, money, energy, we see significant changes happen. I saw this in my kids' elementary school. There were some dads, right, that would give of their time, but mostly it was moms, to be honest, right? Now, maybe dads were working. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me, really. But what I observed is that moms were the majority of giving of their time, giving of their money, arranging the things that needed to happen in the school, the extra resources that were required, the parent auxiliary committee or the PTA or whatever you want to call it in your world. It was a lot of women doing that. Few good men, a lot of women. Be the change you want to see in the world. That's why it's important. It's also a really big part of taking social responsibility for our communities. Saying what is okay and what is not okay in our communities is a really important piece, and we can do that partly by giving of our time, money, and energy. It can be really personally fulfilling. I love giving when I get to actually give it to a person, right? Whether that's my time, money, or energy, it doesn't matter. I love that piece. It's very personally fulfilling to me. I feel like I'm making a difference, right? It gives me the feel good factor. I just absolutely love it. And we can create lasting change. We can inspire future generations, and we can create meaningful memorials through things like legacy building, establishing a fund, a scholarship, a thing for, whatever. You build a building, you donate a car. Like, these are legacy building. These are big things that shift the trajectory for people and for future generations very, very positively. So don't think it's just about fulfilling an immediate need. You can also think about how you can create a lasting legacy. So I feel personally that it's important to have passion and purpose in your giving. So reflecting for myself on what deeply moves them. I explained the difference, right, with the Ancient Forest Alliance. My business donates 1% of its revenue to causes and organizations that are important to our team members and to our clients. And so we ask, what do you care about? What is important to you? And then I think personally, how does that align with our business core values, with my personal core values? Where do we need to spend that 1% of our revenue? I think it's really also important to have a vision for the change that you want to see in the world. What is the vision? What do you want to see change in your community, in your world? What matters to you? And then to also think about, most importantly, aligning any cause that you choose with your personal values. And that's why, like, random, like, do you want to give a few pennies here and there? It's not really a big deal, but it is important that it all lines up, that it's all in alignment. It's congruent energy, because the incongruent energy, there's an amplification of that energy. And that is gold. Like, that moves things so much faster. So it is important. I do want to say it is very important for you to do your research, do your due diligence. Make sure that the causes and organizations that you are giving to have some transparency in their finances, in their governance, in their impact. Make sure that they are accredited. Look for accrediting things like Charity Navigator, GuideStar, the Better Business Bureau, any of those things. Do they have any kind of accreditation or a rating or anything? And look at the leadership team and the board members. Effective organizations where you want to give your money have strong, diverse, and experienced board members overseeing their activities. You also want to assess the effectiveness. Look for the impact evidence. What kind of evidence reporting tangible outcomes do they have for their programs? What kind of efficiencies are in place for their organization so that your money is being used well? It's being managed well. And how involved are they in their community? Is this just like a slap a sticker on it and say we do it? Or are they actually out there doing the work that they say they're doing? And then finally, consider engaging directly with the organization. Visit their office, their site, their business, their board meeting, their activity, their event. Get involved with the people. Actually go there and see them. Reach out to them directly. Ask them questions. Ask them what they need. Ask them what would be most valuable to them. You never know how a collaboration or some person in your network would be the most amazing resource for an organization that you feel so passionate about. Now, you may wonder, because I shared 1% of my business's revenue goes towards causes and initiatives that are important to our team members and our clients, how do we balance that with profit? Well, we feel very strongly that this is part of our profitability. It is baked into our pricing. We're almost forcing our clients to give to their causes by paying their bills super transparently. So I'm not going, oh, and then there's 1% for giving. No, I'm just overall, we're including this in our pricing model because giving is aligned with our business's core mission and our values. And it creates a natural synergy and it helps support our clients, our team members, and our communities. So that's how we balance that profit with our purpose. It's a really important piece. If you're looking for a book to read about this, I highly, highly recommend Evolved Enterprise by Yannick Silver. This is a game changer book. I'll put the link in the notes. Way back on episode 12, I'll put the link in the show notes because I interviewed Yannick. He's a friend of mine, amazing human being. And we talked about connecting your head, your heart, and your higher purpose. And his book, Evolved Enterprise, game changer. And it talks about being a business for good. And that's what my business is. It's a business for good. It promotes good. We're doing good work. We are good people and we work with good people. Now, some people can have a bit of skepticism around philanthropy or around giving. So you want to make sure that If you are coming up against skepticism, maybe you decide that this is something you want to incorporate into your family, but someone in your family is a bit skeptic about all this woo woo giving and releasing money and all this stuff. Here's how you handle that. The first piece is about transparency, open communication. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. This is our goal that aligns with our vision. Super open communication, pure transparency. And then updates. Hey, we gave to this organization. They did this thing, right? My kids love this. So one of the organizations that we support is the BCSPCA. So this animal welfare organization in British Columbia. And because it's part of our family giving initiative, my children know about it and they are involved. And so they get the newsletter, they show me the videos, they're watching. We are all reporting to each other on the effects of the money that we give to that organization. You'll also want to share real stories about the effects of the giving and the beneficiaries of your giving. So, how this affects you and your family, how this affects your community, talking about this. Again, this comes down to open communication and transparency. And then thinking of other opportunities where we can talk about what we're giving of our time, our money, our energy, and what that looks like for the future. Balancing the profit with purpose and navigating skepticism are ongoing processes, and they require thoughtful strategies and genuine commitment. And if your business is committed to this, such as mine, you might have some pushback, right? Like people can get their panties in a knot about stuff like this, especially if they don't see, like, yeah, sure, I get the benefit, but like, I'm not really picking up what you're throwing down about, like, it moves me into abundance. And then you can get all crazy around, like, well, what do you mean she gives 1% of the revenue? So that's coming out of my pocket? We want to balance all of this, and it requires thoughtful strategies and a genuine commitment. And not everybody's going to agree, and that's okay. It's your business, it's your life, it's your money, it's your time, it's your energy, and you get to decide what you do with that. So, as I close out this episode, I just wanted to share a couple of people who are incredible philanthropists and have made a significant impact in our world. Now, I want you to put all your politics aside and do not have a reaction to the names that I'm mentioning based on what you believe or don't believe. Because whether or not you agree, right? These people have made an impact. You may consider it positive or negative. I don't know. And there's all kinds of stories around it. But I want to highlight this because it shows the difference that we can make. So, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation focuses on global health, education, and poverty alleviation. It's one of the largest private philanthropic foundations in the world. And it's played a pivotal role in initiatives like the eradication of polio and malaria. That's huge, right? I know there's this whole thing around the COVID vaccine and all this stuff, whatever. I'm not interested. If they eradicated polio and malaria, that's awesome. I'm all for that. That is fantastic. So Warren Buffett pledges over 99% of his wealth to charitable causes. He primarily funnels that through the Gates Foundation. So he doesn't have his own foundation. He moves it over there. Now, this is an unprecedented pledge. Nobody does this. 99% of your wealth. So he's living on 1% of his wealth. It's a lot. That 1% is still good. It's not like he's eating Kraft dinner, but it's a significant pledge and it's unprecedented. And it has contributed to very significant global issues. And he has set a new standard for philanthropy in terms of scale and commitment, especially for the ultra wealthy. So his actions spurred the creation of the Giving Pledge, where billionaires commit to giving away the majority of their wealth. That's incredible. the Oprah Winfrey Foundation and the Oprah Winfrey Operating Foundation focuses on education, empowerment of women and children, and arts and culture. Her giving efforts include funding educational programs and building the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa. Her contributions often extend beyond money, involving personal involvement, advocacy, and raising awareness. This has made a profound impact on people's lives. The fourth one I want to talk about is the Azim Premji Foundation, which focuses on education and related humanitarian efforts. This is one of the biggest philanthropy initiatives out of India. Premji has committed over $21 billion to improving the educational framework in India. That's incredible and is worthy of noting. The Open Society Foundation, which was founded by George Soros, focuses on justice, education, public health, and independent media. It's known for his focus on fighting for civil liberties, reducing inequality, and supporting the democratic process around the world. Huge work, amazing initiative, and a huge civil rights movement that is global. And finally, the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, which is founded by Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan, focuses on science education, justice, and opportunity. Through their initiative, they focus on a mission-driven approach combining philanthropy, technology, and collaboration. And this addresses societal challenges. They have significantly contributed towards personalized learning, curing diseases, and reforming the criminal justice system. Again, huge. Like these things, our world changes because these people decided to do this thing. Now, just because you don't have $21 billion to give away doesn't mean you can't have an impact. Whether you choose your time, money, or energy, or all three, or any combination of that, it will have an impact. Be sure to align it with your core values, create a vision, and take action. That's all it takes. Thanks for joining me today on the Rich Life Revolution. I loved this conversation. And be sure to check in next week in episode 60, where I am talking to Sandra Morneau, who is a digital nomad, a money smart travelnista with over 15 years of experience. She's originally from Miami, but you're going to find her roaming the world as a digital nomad. And today she helps people do just that. Check out episode 60 next week. I can't wait for you to learn all about this. I love the Money Smart Travelnista piece. That's what I'm so excited about. Talk to you soon. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you got at least one gold nugget today. Be sure to grab your copy of the Rich Life Revolution workbook to help you set the foundation for your next level of wealthy. Get it now at richliferevolution.ca, and I'll see you later.